Have you ever wondered if what you've been taught about God's name is all wrong? What if the sacred name, which appears over 6,800 times in the Bible, has been hidden, altered, and even forbidden for centuries? Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about God, faith, and even the end times. Welcome back to Biblical Journey. I'm so glad you're here today. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You won't want to miss what we're uncovering today. Trust me, this is a game changer. In today's episode, we're diving deep into one of the most profound mysteries of the Bible, the true name of God. You've probably heard it referred to as Lord or God, but what if there's more to the story? Why has this name been hidden in plain sight? And why should we care? Stick around and you'll be shocked by what we discover. Let's go back to the moment in Exodus 3:13 to 14 when Moses stood before the burning bush. With uncertainty in his voice, Moses asked God, "When I come to the Israelites and say, 'The God of your ancestors has sent me to you,' and they ask, 'What is his name?' What shall I tell them?" God's response is one of the most enigmatic and powerful moments in the entire Bible. He doesn't give Moses a simple name. He gives him a profound revelation of his nature. Ahia, Asher, Ahia, meaning, I am that I am. God doesn't just define himself with a title. He defines himself as the eternal, unchanging essence of existence. This declaration connects to the very core of who God is, the creator of everything, past, present, and future. But then comes the game-changing moment. In verse 15, God tells Moses, "This is my name forever, and this is my memorial to all generations," and reveals to him the name Yahweh. Yahweh is not just a title, it's God's personal, eternal name. But what happened to it over time? Why has this powerful name been replaced, and in some cases, forbidden? Now let's talk about Yahweh and the mystery behind it. Did you know that the name of God is actually woven into the very fabric of creation itself? When we look at human DNA, we see that it's built from four fundamental bases: adenine A, thymine T, guanine G, and cytosine C. Interestingly, when we analyze these bases in a way that corresponds to the letters of the tetragrammaton YHWH, we see something amazing. The divine name is encoded into the very structure of our biology. What does this mean? It means that every time you breathe, yes, every breath, you are unconsciously pronouncing God's name. The letters of Yahweh correspond to sounds we make with our breath. So from the first breath you take at birth to the last one you take at death, you are connected to the Creator, whether you realize it or not. But here's where things get even more mysterious. Why did the pronunciation of God's name disappear from public use? Why did religious leaders over time begin to replace Yahweh with titles like Adonai, Lord, and Elohim, God? There's a lot of debate, but one thing is clear. This name was not erased by accident. At some point during the time of the First Temple, the name Yahweh was used freely in Israel. But after the destruction of Solomon's temple, things began to change. Some scholars believe that the destruction was seen as divine judgment, and so the name Yahweh was considered too powerful, even dangerous, to be spoken freely. Eventually, it became restricted, only to be spoken by the high priest on the Day of Atonement in the Holy of Holies. But why was this tradition of secrecy maintained? Was it out of reverence, or was there something else at play? Fast forward to the Middle Ages, when the Masoretic scholars began to alter the original biblical manuscripts. In an attempt to preserve the pronunciation of Yahweh, they placed the vowels of Adonai over the tetragrammaton. This was supposed to remind readers to say Adonai instead of Yahweh. But over time, this mistake led to the creation of a new pronunciation, Jehovah. The name Jehovah spread throughout Christianity and became widely accepted, especially in Western translations like the King James Bible. The only problem, this is not the correct pronunciation of the divine name, and in fact, it has no basis in the original Hebrew language. Yahweh was lost, and Jehovah became the widely accepted form despite its inaccuracy. So, how did this happen? Was it a simple mistake, or was there something more intentional behind the distortion of God's true name? You might be wondering, does this really matter today? After all, the New Testament doesn't seem to use the name Yahweh much, does it? But what if I told you that there's evidence to suggest that Yahweh was present in the earliest manuscripts of the New Testament? In fact, many scholars believe that the name Yahweh was used in the New Testament but was later replaced with titles like Kyrios, Lord, and Theos, God, due to the rising influence of Gentile Christianity, which sought to distance itself from Jewish traditions. A powerful clue is found in Matthew 27:46, when Jesus cries out, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani." This is often translated as, my God, why have you forsaken me?" But did you know that in the original Hebrew, the phrase might actually be a reference to Yahweh? And in John 8:58, when Jesus says, "Before Abraham was, I am," he's not just making a statement about his own existence. He's invoking the identity of Yahweh, causing a huge stir among the Pharisees. They knew exactly what he meant. But why has this reference to Yahweh been obscured in modern translations? Is it possible that there's a deliberate attempt to distance the New Testament from the true name of God? We've explored the history, the mystery, and the meaning of Yahweh's name, but there's one more crucial aspect to understand: the role of God's name in the end times. The Bible is clear that Yahweh will not remain hidden forever. In Revelation 14:1, we see a powerful scene. "And I looked, and behold, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads." This is not just a symbolic gesture, it's a sign of divine identity and protection in the last days. These 144,000 individuals, marked with Yahweh's name, are described as faithful servants of God. Their identity is defined by this name, and it will be their seal of belonging in a world increasingly dominated by deception and evil. So why is this so significant? If Yahweh's name is so crucial to the faithful in the end times, shouldn't we be more diligent about learning, understanding, and proclaiming it today? If we don't know the name that seals us for eternity, how can we fully embrace the protection and power it offers? The Bible also reveals that in the end times, there will be a spiritual battle between those who bear the name of God and those who accept the mark of the beast. In Revelation 13:16-17, it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." In contrast, those who bear the name Yahweh will be marked for divine protection. This sets up a clear choice: accept the mark of the beast, or embrace the name of God. But what does this mean for us today? Could there be more at stake in understanding the divine name than we realize? As we continue through Scripture, we find that the name of Yahweh is not just an identity, it's a powerful force in the spiritual realm. This name has been invoked in times of deliverance, miracles, and judgment. In Exodus 5:1, Moses stands before Pharaoh and declares, "Thus saith Yahweh, the God of Israel, let my people go." This is not just a command, it's a declaration of God's sovereignty and power. From that moment, plagues descended upon Egypt. The name of Yahweh carries with it not only authority, but the power to change the course of history. This theme continues throughout the Bible. In 1 Kings 18:24, Elijah challenges the prophets of Baal and calls upon the name of Yahweh. "Then call ye on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of Yahweh. And the God that answereth by fire, let him be God." And what happens next? Fire comes down from heaven and consumes Elijah's offering, proving that Yahweh is the one true God. The name of Yahweh is not just a label, it's a force to be reckoned with. The miracles, the deliverances, the supernatural events, all of them are linked to this name. But here's the real question. Can we still experience that power today? Can invoking the name of Yahweh bring about miracles and deliverance in our own lives? The Bible seems to suggest it's possible, but the question is, do we believe it? What does all of this mean for us today? The name of Yahweh is not just a theological concept or an ancient relic. It's a living reality, and it's time for us to restore its place in our lives. If this name carries so much spiritual power, why have we allowed it to be erased from our understanding and tradition? The Bible is clear that God Himself revealed this name to us, and we are instructed to remember it forever. Yet for centuries, it has been hidden, replaced, and even forbidden. But now, as we near the end times, there's a call to rediscover and embrace this name. Are we willing to restore Yahweh's name in our prayers, our studies, and our daily lives? Can we reclaim this lost spiritual treasure and allow it to transform our faith? The Bible says the name will be restored in the last days, and the faithful will bear it on their foreheads. But why wait until then? Why not start now? Now that we've uncovered the hidden secret of God's name, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to hide the truth, or will you be bold enough to proclaim the name Yahweh and invite its power into your life? The time has come for all of us to restore the name of Yahweh to its rightful place in our faith and worship. If this video has opened your eyes to something you've never known before, then don't stop here. There are more mysteries hidden in the Bible, and we're just scratching the surface. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next video in our biblical journey. The restoration of Yahweh's name is not just a theological pursuit, it's a spiritual awakening. Will you be part of it? Now that you know the truth, what will you do with it? Share this video with friends and family. Let's begin a movement of rediscovering the name that holds the power to change everything. Like, subscribe, and comment below if you believe in the power of Yahweh's name. Stay tuned for the next video where we dive deeper into another biblical mystery. The journey has just begun.